We're uploading the things and we're done. We're starting our session. We start to continue our session. Now, our session started by a recap about what Mr. Mithat actually has explained. So Mr. Mithat has explained lots of things. Some of them like related to how to explain, to do the reading part and everything. Now, let's do this. Let's start by one of the reading things. Let's start by how to solve it. Let's start by the one that we were talking about. We have a PDF here talking about the word. Think, please, we can see all of it. Okay. So, okay, I cannot remove that part, but so as we can see here, so that's the reading. So this is a piece of reading. So how many paragraphs? So as the guy said, like we need to count the paragraphs. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 paragraphs. Okay. So there is a small problem. Okay, so we have 4 paragraphs. Now, 4 paragraphs. So how can I do this first? Now, when we have these 4 paragraphs, we do this. We try to skim read the thing first. How to skim read? So it's like this. So read the first line and the last line. So here, the Beowulf epic, also really interesting aspects of the life of Anglo-Saxon, who lived in England at time of anonymous Beowulf poet. Okay, so that's the first thing. Then the second, the last sentence. By the time of the Beowulf poet, Anglo-Saxon society, okay, in England was neither primitive or uncultured. So uncultured. So I read the first line and the last line. Now let's continue. Let's read the first line here and the last line here. Although the Beowulf manuscript was written in about AD 1000 AD, so what's AD? AD, that means yes, after the Christ. BC, BC before Christ, Jesus. AD after the Christ. It's shortcut for Anno Domini. Now, it was not discovered until the 17th century. So here he is talking also the manuscript about Beowulf. Now, let's continue here. The last sentence here. So, last sentence. Other scholars think that the poet's favorable attitude toward the Danes must be placed the epic composed after the Vikings invasions of blah 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 whatever. That's the last thing. So supporting details talk about the manuscript and it was written, yes. So that's important. So what are the important things in something like that? Now, before the prayer we stopped, we were talking about this piece of reading. We said that the piece of reading that has like more than one paragraph. Now let's start by trying to solve it without talking too much. Let's start solving. Let's see what's inside the exam. Okay? So let's go here. So here, for example, that's the first question about this piece of reading. Okay. So the epic poem Beowulf, written in Old English, in the earliest whatever. So in here, according to paragraph 1, which of the following is true about Beowulf? So according to paragraph 1, which is the following true about Beowulf? Now, so let's try to come here. So it is the only manuscript from Anglo-Saxon, okay, period. So that's the period. Okay, the original story was written in German, dialect. Okay, the author did not sign his name to the poem. It's one of the several epics from the 1st century. Now I want to answer this question. How can I answer this question? It's like this. Now let's focus here. So the epic poem Beowulf, written in Old English. So that's the first thing. So written in Old English. So we need to actually eliminate some answers. Right here. Okay. So here. So was written in English. So that means written in German is wrong. Very nice. Now, so here and one of the 4 surviving Angelo. So it's the only. So it's 1 of 4. Now we have 2. It's one of several epics from the 1st century and so on. So let's read here. So all English takes place in that part Scandinavian from which Germanic tribes immigrated to England. Beowulf comes from, yes, Gatland. I'm so sorry. The Southeastern part of what is known Sweden, Hungary, or whatever, and so on. And I go here. It reflects German traditions of myth, legends, or whatever. So it's three major tales, one of several epics. Three major tales. So one of several epics. We try to think here. So the author did not sign his name to the poem. So we can see here anonymous Englishman. Anonymous. That means he didn't sign his name. So because the third one is wrong. Okay, he didn't mention anything. So the author didn't sign anything. So when we go to it, yes, here. Because here, yes, was written by anonymous author, unknown Englishman in Old English. That's what we got from the reading. Anonymous here. So it rides on my understanding. Very nice. So here is the author is anonymous. That means he's unknown. That means he didn't write his name. Let's go next. Okay. Now the word which in the passage refers to, very nice. So let's go for the passage here. So we can find which here. So we want to think. So the tale takes place in the part of the Scandinavian which, okay, is he talking about the tale or is he talking about the Scandinavian? So let's think about it here. So the tale takes place in, okay, in that part of Scandinavia from which Germanic tribes immigrated. So here, Germanic tribes immigrated, so immigrated to, very nice. So he's talking about what? Scandinavia. Thank you very much. So he's talking about Scandinavia. Very nice. As although Beowulf was written by an anonymous Englishman in Old English, the tale takes place in that part of Scandinavia from which part of in Scandinavia, Germanic tribes immigrated to England. So they immigrated from that part of Scandinavia to England. Very nice. So that's they immigrate from a place to another. So which here, if we're trying to look at it here, so which here is talking about Scandinavia, not talking about, very nice, tale. Talking about Scandinavia, not the tale. Okay? Because here, if you continue the sentence, Germanic tribes immigrated to England. So he's talking about a place. Okay? Very nice. Continue. Now, why does the author mention the bug iron in the paragraph 2? So let's go for paragraph 2. So that's paragraph 2. So let's think about it. So the Beowulf warrior have a foot in both the Bronze and Iron Age. Okay, very nice. Now, their need hell reflected the wealthy living of the Bronze Age Northmen. Now, while I'm answering that question, I should do what? Yes, while I'm answering that question, first I should read, the question in themselves. So I read the question, let's read the answers, and the answers normally, they come like this. They come for, one of them has a false information. One of them is cuckoo, crazy, and two of them are close to each other, but they're not equal. Okay? So again, one of them is, has a false information. The second one is, second one is talking about cuckoo English. Okay. The third one, two are similar to each other. So we need to find out. So let's read them. To demonstrate the availability of iron in Scandinavia, to prove the iron was better than bronze for weapons, to argue that the Celtics provide the materials to make iron, to suggest that 500 BC was the date that the Iron Age began. Okay? So, as we're saying, so after reading them and knowing that those things are talking about something from, yes, listen. So when we go to the arrow here, we go here to the paragraph 2. So, to demonstrate the availability of iron in Scandinavia. So here, and the wooden shields, the wooden shuttles, spears, and bronze pistol swords are those Bronze Age warriors. So Bronze Age warriors are wooden shields, very nice, wooden shafted, and all of the spears. So the weapons of war were made of wood. Now, the Iron Age was like reflected that when they have like lots of iron, lots of swords and other things. However, they carry iron tipped spears. Tipped spears, you know, the spear that has a top of the iron, okay, spear, and their best swords have iron and iron edged blades. So their best swords, they have iron, okay. Now, so Beowulf also ordered an iron shield for his fight with the dragon, okay. Iron replaced bronze because it produced the blade with a cutting edge that was stronger and sharper than the bronze. So here he was talking about the iron was stronger and sharper than the bronze. The Northmen learned how to forge iron in about 500 BC. So let's go here. 500 BC was the date that the Iron Age began. And the Northmen learned how to forge iron. Oh, very nice. So here he said it. Very nice. It began 500 BC. And here it says in the paragraph that they started in 500 BC. That means that this one is wrong. Very nice. Now let's continue. So they had been superior to the European Celtics, bronze. So here he's talking about Celtics. So let's go here. He was saying, they argue that Celtics provide the materials to make iron. And here, although they have been superior to the European Celtics in bronze work, it was the Celtics who taught them how to make and design iron work was accessible. So to argue that Celtics provide materials to make iron? No. They taught them. Okay? So they didn't provide the iron, they taught them. Very nice. Okay? Now, to provide was better than bronze for weapons. Now, let's go here. So, it's continue. It was the Celtics who taught them how to make designs of iron work. Iron was accessible everywhere in Scandinavia. Usually the form of bug iron found in the layer of the peg spot. Ooh. So we have two here we're like confused between, but when he mentioned the bug iron, he said that it was available everywhere in Scandinavia. So the availability of iron in Scandinavia. Very nice. So the correct one here is the availability of iron in Scandinavia. So as he said here, Scandinavia accessible everywhere. I'm so sorry, the iron accessible everywhere in Scandinavia. You see? So I don't read the whole thing. I read the thing and I find it. Okay? Let's go here for the next one. Next one, let's see, are you going to do it or not? Now, let's give you 1 minute to find it. Hmm. Hmm. 30 seconds. Yes? And time is up. So, did you answer it? Let's answer it together. So, we said, how do we answer? We answer through first reading a question and reading the answer carefully. Now, which of these sentences below best expresses the information in the highlighted statement in the passage? The other choices change the meaning or leave out important information. Now, so which of them he wants that one that expresses the sentence. So let's read the sentence, then read them. By the time of the Beowulf, who Anglo-Saxon society in England was either primitive nor uncultured. Society, okay, let's read the answers here. So society in Anglo-Saxon England was both advanced and cultured. Okay. The society of Anglo-Saxon was not primitive. Okay, so that one is wrong. So technically he said they were. Very nice. Anglo-Saxon had a society that was primitive, not cultured. Okay. England during the Anglo-Saxon society was advanced, not cultured. So, I'm so sorry. Here, the Anglo-Saxon had a society that was primitive and not cultured. Not cultured. Primitive nor uncultured. Was neither primitive nor uncultured. What means primitive? Very nice. It is primitive. Primitive is the opposite of advanced. So here, he said it was primitive. And he said neither primitive nor uncultured. That means it was not primitive, it was not uncultured. Very nice. So it wasn't primitive, it wasn't uncultured. That means here, when he said it was primitive, okay, it was advanced but not cultured. Ah, wrong. So let's go here. The opposite of primitive, advanced, and the opposite of uncultured, cultured. So it's A. Okay, it's A. Let's go next. So it's A. The word unique in the passage is closer in the meaning to old, rare, perfect, weak. Give you 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds to answer. $15 seconds. Come on. Time is up. So, the word unique. What means unique? Okay, if I don't know, I try to get the meaning from the sentence. Okay, so let's start first. If I don't know, let's try to guess it from the sentence. Find the word unique. So, okay, so let's read what's surrounding unique. So here, it was unique even in its own time. So let's go back here. Okay, it was not discovered until the 17th century. Scholars do not know whether Beowulf is the sole surviving epic, other great epics, or whether it was unique. So one of a group or unique. So perfect? He didn't talk about perfect, so perfect is wrong. Weak? They talk about strong or weak. Old? We know it's old. Yes, unique here, one of a kind. That's rare. Very nice. So the correct one here is rare, because unique means rare. Very nice. Continue. Next. So according to paragraph 4, why do many scholars believe that the original manuscript for Beowulf was lost? First one, because it's not like other manuscripts, because many libraries were burned, because the Danish were allies of the Anglo-Saxons, because no copies were found in manuscripts. Okay. Now let's try to find it. So he said in paragraph 4, so he's talking about the whole thing. So how to find that thing? Give you 1 minute. You have 1 minute. Hmm. 1 minute. Good thing. Okay. Although 30 seconds. Time is up. So now let's go here. So number one, because it's not like other manuscripts, they didn't mention that. So they didn't say that it was not like other manuscripts. Now, because many libraries were burned. Maybe. Okay, let's go for the next one. Because the Danish were alive. Okay, so they didn't say anything about the Danish were allied like with like the Anglo-Saxons, because no copy were found in monasteries. They found some, so no copies stood out strong. So let's go here. Many libraries were burned. So let's see here. So Dennis must place the epic composition after the Viking invasion. So what's invasion? Invasion when a country goes to another country to take it. Okay. So, and at the start of the 11th century, Tondilo was written. Okay. So here, if we're talking about monasteries, they found some in monasteries. So in which they didn't destroy the Anglican monasteries, their great libraries, however. So the libraries were burned. Very nice. So here, we understand from it. Okay, let's try to read. We understand from it. The Eurasian manuscript was probably lost during the 9th century. Why? In which the Danes destroyed the Anglo-Saxon monasteries and their great libraries. They destroyed the libraries. That's why they don't know like that the original manuscript for Beowulf was lost. Go next. Question. Okay. Next question. So we have here in paragraph 4, the author suggests that Beowulf was discovered in the 1st century, 9th century, 11th century, 17th century. So I guess we talked about this one. We thought about it. We thought what? Yes, here. So when we thought about it here, we thought what? Here he mentioned something about 11th century. So what's 11th century? Vikings invasion. So not 11th century. Now let's go here. 7th century. Okay, let's go for what is the 7th century. So between the 7th century and yes, 7th century and between the 7th century and the early 9th century. They were talking about what was probably written, and he wants to discover. So, okay, so 9th century, that's wrong. 7th century, that's wrong. Now we have 11th, we have 1st century. So common sense here, it was written late between 7th and 9th. So written between 7th and 9th. So 1st century, wrong. So it's 11th century. And let's see here in the paragraph. 11th. Although the Beowulf manuscript was written about 1000 AD, it was not discovered until 17th century. Very nice. So that choice A is wrong. I'm talking about not written. I'm talking about discovered. Very nice. Why does the author of this passage use the word apparently in the paragraph? Apparently. Apparently coming from appear. Very nice. So apparently coming from appear. So it's not certain that the author of Beowulf was Christian. So it's not certain that the author of Beowulf was Christian. Maybe. Because apparently that means it's not certain. Let's go here. He's mentioning facts that are obvious to the readers. Okay. He's given an example from historical references. He's introducing evidence about the author of Beowulf. Okay, so let's try to read it here. Where is the word apparently? So where is the word apparently here? So he said, okay, the idea of Beowulf poet is also uncertain. Not certain. Okay. It apparently was Christian. So he's not certain if the author was Christian. Thank you very much. You see, you can answer the question through reading in between lines and understand. Okay? Let's go next. Appearing as we said. Now, the author compared the Beowulf character to Hercules because. So we know Hercules, Hercules is one of the famous characters, the strong guy. Hercules. So they're both examples of the ideal hero. Their adventures with a dragon are very similar. The speeches that they make are inspiring. They live at about the same time. So we want to find it. So let's try to find it. Now, to find it, we need to find the names. Okay, so we know the name. Beowulf, let's find the name Hercules. So Hercules, repeat, Hercules, Hercules, Hercules. Okay, try to find it.